Welcome to Keys and Credit, the no fluff, no nonsense real estate mortgage podcast. I'm Barb, your straight talking lender.
I am Bill, the no bullshit realtor.
What are we talking about today, Bill and Barb?
Financing your second home or investment property.
We're talking about second homes, cabins, lake homes, hunting properties, anything that involves not being your primary residence.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Maybe someone's dreaming of a lake home, maybe looking for their first rental property. Buying a second home or investment property is exciting.
My question...
But the financing definitely works differently than your primary residence.
Financing always gets people.
Do you, from both of your guys' perspectives, do you think that buying a second home is more or less feasible than people assume?
Less feasible. Don't get me wrong, it's completely doable. But when people call us, they'll say, we'll use, we can't say names.
No. We'll use Joe Blow.
We'll use Joe Blow as an example. Okay, so they would call and say, hey, we want to buy a second house. How do we do it? And you explain to them they need 20-25% down. It's not a 3.5% FHA mortgage. You actually need to put skin in the game.
Yep.
And it really deters people. It's not saying it's not doable, but a lot of people don't realize you need, say they're looking at a $300,000 cabin, which is normal. That's a cabin is normal.
That's crazy.
And so 20% down, they're going to need $60,000.
Yeah. And
You know?
some, so for second
That's a
homes,
minimum.
some you can
25.
get, no, that's investment property.
Oh, okay.
Some, depending upon the investor, you can get by with as little as 10%.
Wait a minute, depending on the investor. Let's go down
Yeah.
a rabbit hole here. So investors
there's
dictate this stuff?
Yeah, there's many different investors that we use, and
Okay.
they all have different programs and guidelines. So on second homes, you can get by with less. Investment property, you're going to have at least 20 to 25% down. But that's your rental properties. Maybe you want to buy a house as an Airbnb, or
Right,
maybe you want
VRBO
to.
or something.
Yep.
Okay.
Now,
Yep.
why is that? Because to me, it
It's the
seems
level
like
of risk.
if you're planning on making money with it, it seems like less risky than if it was a vacation home strictly.
You can't prove it. You can't prove it. So here's the thing that we come into too is some people want to do this second investment property, and they want to use the income they're going to make on this property for their debt to income, or as part of their income, right?
Yeah.
And they need what, 6 months? 6 months to a year?
Well, it depends upon the program, because that would get us into talking about DSCR loans. But
We are going to screw this up 6 ways from Sunday, but that's fine.
So back to your original question, why would it be more risky? Because you'd be getting income. Well, it goes in layers of risk. On your primary residence, if they're going to lend to you, if your credit score is good, right, and you have down payment and that sort of thing, and maybe you need down payment assistance, we can talk about that in a future podcast. But on your second home or investment property, if you were to fall into hard times and not be able to make your payment, you're going to let your second home or investment property go, not the roof over your family's head.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm thinking from the standpoint of like, if I'm going to borrow someone my money, I would much rather them say, I plan on you making money with it versus I'm just having this as a fun spot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd like to, so let's go back on that. What if they've never done it before? Say you're going to give someone 300, 400 grand and say, here, go make money. They're going to say, well, we don't know how.
Yeah, but someone has done it before. Obviously, you have to show that you have an ability to make that money and have a plan for it right away.
Yep.
You know, but for me, it seems like it doesn't make sense that it's the same risk factor that it would be on a vacation home as if someone's buying it specifically for an Airbnb. Because the plan is I'm not going to have to use my own money to pay for this versus second home. You have to use your money.
So let's just say you have an Airbnb up in Ely. Well, sure, there might be snowmobilers that come, but you might not rent it out every week in the winter.
Right.
You may only rent it out in the summer. Well, you're still going to have a monthly payment in December.
Oh, totally. No, and I get
And
there's
so,
risk
like,
there on both sides.
On the investment property, they will take 75% of your rental amount that you're going to get and sometimes allow you to use that as income.
I almost wonder what the delinquency rates are on a investment property versus a second home, because now that you say it like that, I would almost think that because you're not even planning on living in it, you're probably more predisposed to be like, I don't care about it.
Yeah.
You're not in
That's
it.
that's the problem.
You're
is
not
they're,
in it.
they're
Where a second
throwaways.
home,
They are.
sometimes
You like have sentimental value.
yeah,
You're
your family
using it.
goes there.
Yeah.
Maybe you're there every weekend.
Oh my gosh.
So you're probably not going to
Wow.
let that go. But your investment property, it just has your renters in it.
Well, looks like I'm not lending anyone any
Cody,
money
are
anytime
you looking
soon.
at future plans to start lending on Airbnb?
No.
What's going on here?
No,
What's going on here?
definitely not.
Does
no.
your wife know what we're talking about right now? I mean,
My wife knows I can't afford anything.
she's the one that tells you what you're going to.
Here's the thing: half of nothing is still nothing, so I have nothing to give anyone.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. No, that actually made a lot of sense, if you think about it.
Well,
I mean,
so then they also reduce what your debt to income ratio can be.
if you have an investment,
Yeah.
not a second. What if
Or
you
a
use,
second home.
What if you use
you
your
know.
second as an investment, say half and half? Can they count that?
It would be more an investment property purchase then.
Okay, so
Mhm.
if someone wanted to buy a cabin and they couldn't figure that out, could they say they're going to use it as an investment and then use it as investment to get them into their cabin? Does that make sense?
Yes, but then you're going to need 20 to 25% down. Whereas if it's a cabin and you are truly using it as a cabin,
Okay.
maybe occasional weekends you rent it out to family or something, then you could classify that as a second home because the interest rates are different for primary, second home, and investment
Well,
property. And
no.
so the cheapest rates are with primary.
So you know what question's coming next. Can they buy it as a primary second home and
No.
then Airbnb it out?
No.
How are you going to know? How are you going to know?
Yeah. What if you
Well,
don't? What if you
can't-
buy
I mean,
it?
haven't
and,
you heard all the fraud on that on investment property?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
On
Yeah.
primary residence.
Well,
we
let Cody know because he's the one giving his wife's money away here. So
if you're
Yeah.
gonna live there, you have to live there.
you have to.
You have
Okay.
to.
So it's not something you can just. It's not a workaround, right? Where
No.
you can buy it at this interest or this down payment
No.
and change it.
No.
So it's got to be one or the other. It's
One or
either
the other.
your second home or an investment.
Correct.
Okay.
You
Okay.
cannot-
I mean, there's a lot of variables here, though. Like you buy it and have a 30-year note, and 10 years in, you're like, oh
Well,
gosh.
sure.
That's what
So
I'm
Let
saying.
me just
that's
rent it on the
at-
weekends.
How are you gonna know?
well, so in the future, correct. You don't know where life's gonna take you.
But you
but
can't go
if
into it with that plan.
You
of
cannot.
fooling the bank.
You cannot.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Okay.
That
But-
would be fraud.
But if you don't plan on that right away and you just do it anyways, 10 years down the line.
10 years down the line,
Cody's got
it's
plans here.
A different. it's a different.
He's very involved in this one.
I'm just thinking of things, that I've always
Absolutely.
thought about this. Like I understand that why the rates would be different.
Uh-huh.
And I also understand why people would take advantage of that. I'm just curious of how it works
Well,
and
sure.
how
And a lot
you
of
guys
people-
figure that out.
Well, a lot of people they'll call me up and say, "Hey, I want to buy a new home as my primary residence. My job has changed. It's wherever, even 30 miles away or 60 miles away. I want to keep my house and rent it out." That's perfectly fine because that's something that's happening in the future.
Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, so you can buy
You
a
can-
second home and then rent out your first one for income?
Yeah.
So how come
So
you can't?
let's just say you.
You know where this is going.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
So let's just say we'll use you as an example.
Okay. I'm a good example.
Yep. You decide your primary residence in 2 years that you want to rent that out
Sure.
and buy a new home.
Sure.
That is absolutely fine. That can become your second home.
But
It would-
that wouldn't
it would be an
consider
an
mortgage
investment.
fraud or any of that
No,
stuff.
because
Okay.
that wasn't your intent at the time of purchasing.
Oh.
Yeah, see,
Yep.
that's what I don't like about
Okay,
it. There's a lot
alright.
of gray area. And I
Mhm.
feel like the average person like myself would be the one that gets in trouble with something
Well,
like
so
that.
your notes generally say you're going to
Swimming around
occupy
in the gray.
property.
Yes, it's
When
fine.
you sign on a mortgage, you're certifying that you're going to move into the property within 60 days, and you're going to use it as your primary residence for the next 12 months.
What are the consequences if you don't use it as your primary residence for the next 12 months? Say something changes and you decide to rent it out on month 7.
Well, you did state that, but
Sorry, Barb.
that you were going to live in it as your primary residence.
Can you just call the lender and say, hey, you know what? Things changed.
I'm sure you could justify it.
Okay. All right.
You would just want to check it out.
All right. Okay. Boy, did we not go
Check it
by
out.
any of this stuff. Thanks a lot, Cody. That
Sorry.
was awesome. No, that was
Sorry.
good. That was actually good.
Didn't mean to derail
Um,
you. Just just things that
We
just
kind of
popped right
ganged
into
up
my
on
head.
Barb there for a second. I kind of felt bad for her.
Yeah, I'm not
What?
I'm not trying to poke holes in it by any means. I'm just genuinely curious.
What goes
Yeah,
to show,
absolutely.
she's just firing back and forth at both of us. I mean, yep.
But there are a lot of questions that
Yeah.
people in the public
So
Think about like, hey, can I be an investor? Because that a lot of people
right.
want to do that to generate more income.
That's exactly what my question was going to be to you actually next, was that like,
How do I spend my wife's
what
money?
would be the first couple steps for an average person like me to spend my wife's money on a vacation rental property or an investment property?
How do you start?
Yeah.
How do you start?
How do you get started?
Yeah.
What would be the first steps you would take, knowing what you know?
Yeah. So what you're going to need is 20 to 25% down. You're going to want to figure out where you want to buy this investment property. And we can lend on apartment buildings even. So let's just say you want to become an apartment building owner and have 7 units within it. We can even do those. But you're going to need 20 to 25% down.
Yeah.
Is there any way around that?
Not on investment.
Darn. Okay. Well, I'm only 20 to 25% away from being able to afford it.
So he has 0% right now to put into this game. That's so on the other side. So when Barb called and says, "Hey, I got someone that is approved for a second home or an investment property," there are restrictions on some of that too. So if you go into this situation thinking that you're going to buy a lake house, right, and you're going to Airbnb it, it's going to be great. It's going to be your investment property. You're going to make a bunch of money, and there's a restriction on it.
Oh, yeah, with the property itself.
Yeah, because Airbnbs now are becoming more popular, okay? And neighbors are getting pissed. Counties, cities, townships are putting restrictions on new properties. Restrictive covenants is what they're called, saying that you can't rent these out.
Absolutely.
And that sticks. So my job is to make sure you don't buy one of those with that intention.
Thinking you can.
And you
And
can't.
you can't. Well, and the thing is, around here, there's a lot of Airbnbs around Pine City.
Oh, yeah.
But they have also put, rules and regulations on them that they can't do what they used to do. And it also costs money to run them. You have to have a license for it.
And they'll be that'll be recorded. We'll be able to see it, right? So on your investment property, say you're going to do an Airbnb, and it's going to be, we'll be able to see the rules, what's attached to that, and what you can and can't do. Some
if it already is one.
Yep.
But if it hasn't been one before, which is very common around here,
then
you wouldn't see that right away, would you?
No, and to have one recorded against a property after it's been built, if that makes sense, is a little more difficult than recording something on something that's new.
Oh.
Right? So when you say split off a property with the survey, you can record the survey and the restrictions all at once. Okay. When you buy a property, if you want to record restrictions, you kind of need a reason.
Sure.
Right? I mean, you can't just record, "Hey, I don't want Barb to live here." It's not how this works.
Right.
So it's a lot easier doing it beforehand. So if you buy an existing property, more than likely that restriction isn't there unless the city has a restriction against it, because the way it's written is the strongest rule applies. So if a township doesn't have any restrictions, but the city does, you have to go off the city. Okay.
Well, and so I've rented a lot of Airbnbs, like when I vacation, and a lot will say, because I have 4 children and they all have others and kids, and so I need big houses.
Yeah.
And it will say,
Not to brag.
What do you mean?
Barb
Just
only
kidding.
stays in
I
big
only
houses.
rent
Just
big
saying.
houses.
I only
Anyways,
get
I'm just
big
kidding.
Well,
houses.
because I have 4 kids and they're all married.
Sure.
Well, 3 married and
No, we get it.
grandkids.
It's fine. You don't have to justify anything. It's okay.
So anyways, my point is that some are like, you cannot go above this number count because of their insurance.
I guess you know.
And then you have to be quiet after this time. And we have neighbors and so a lot of things go into it. So really do your research if you think that you're going to do
it is
an
strange
Airbnb.
too. I've been in a couple of Airbnbs where the homeowner is still in the house. And
upstairs.
you just are, in a separate part of the house, or you're in just a specific bedroom or whatever. The only ones that I've
Super
stayed at like
awkward.
that is
Wow.
it's like a split level, and there's like another door that separates it, so you don't ever interact with them. But it is weird knowing like they're home right now.
I haven't had the opportunity
Especially
to
like
stay
when I
in
get
one of
busy
those
or something. It's like, no, we gotta be quiet. Shh, shh.
where they're upstairs because once again the ones that I've rented is for 14 people.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Because
That'd
Barb
be-
only rents big houses. Just so everybody knows.
Well, also a lot of those big houses, it does specifically say like no parties.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, dude, you just said on this listing it sleeps like 20 people.
I know, right?
What am I gonna do? Come and have a prayer group here? Like what? Obviously, at some point, someone's gonna have a party here.
Well,
So we're
right.
talking about not like non-starters. How many investment properties have you done?
a lot.
A lot. So it works.
It does work,
Right?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
the people that do
So
it
some people buy them
that are successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And they rent them out for, year-long leases, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
So-
So some people like to do that as well. Like I have a client that actually has moved around the country and has kept the houses in all the states that they lived in, and they now rent those out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So when they do this second investment or the investment property, not second home, is there what they rent it out for more than their mortgage? Does that make sense?
Well,
Are they making money off it?
Oh, well, one would hope. You want to
Okay.
cash flow that.
So
I mean, that's the goal.
is that how they got approved for it? This is what I'm going at, right? So
Oh.
say they make enough money to make their current mortgage and that's it.
Mhm.
They say, Barb, I have 20% down, 25%. My wife gave me a loan and
Uh-huh.
said, we can give this a shot, but I don't have any income.
Well, the wife
to-
wouldn't give him a loan. It would be a gift.
We're talking Cody here. It'd be a loan. But where was I going with that? So they don't have any more income to make the payment except for what the house is going to make.
Oh,
See what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
So that's possible.
it is.
Even if that's your plan going into it, that it's a break-even thing,
Well,
you would that mortgage would get approved.
That's
If
where
they
that's
had
where I'm going,
25%
right?
down.
well,
I mean, the
I-
plan is
I-
obviously always going to be to make more money.
Right.
It
But-
depends upon if they have reserves, though,
What do you
because other money in the bank that they're not necessarily using, whether it's a 401k,
Okay.
retirement account.
Well, and
stocks.
break even means something different to everyone too, because break even isn't necessarily paying the mortgage payment. There's still maintenance costs involved.
Absolutely.
in it, and that would also be considered your break even if you can
and
have
vacancy
just
cost.
enough over and above what your mortgage payment is to be able to afford the water heater going out or whatever,
A roof,
So I guess
furnace.
the term break even, I mean, that's kind of subjective.
Right.
Well, that's the risk factor has to be huge. You would think on a lender perspective.
Yeah,
Saying
because-
we can't make this payment unless these people make their payment.
Because let's back up here too. So when you're going to own more than one home, there is a reserve requirement,
Oh,
and that
on
would
top
be
of the 25%.
That you have
Yeah.
to keep in your bank account.
that you have to have at the time of closing.
Okay.
So it's 2
Oh,
months
okay.
of your primary residence payment and 6 months of your investment property.
Tell your wife to start saving money.
And then you can go buy a brand new car. You can
So let's just say
open up credit cards.
let's just say your primary residence is
Cody's
$2,000
on fire
a month,
today.
$2,000 a month, and your investment property is $2,000 a month
Uh-huh.
for easy math. So you need 6 months of that $2,000 for the investment, so $12,000, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then 2 months for your primary, so another 4. So you need to have 16 grand in the bank above and beyond your down payment and
Oh,
or
wow.
closing costs.
Okay, so is that when you're doing a primary loan, is that a normal thing that
No,
you also look-
only on second home.
only on, okay, that's what I was going to
Yeah,
ask because
yeah.
I've never been asked,
No.
Wait a minute.
Hey,
Have you
there's-
gotten your primary loan yet?
for my new house.
For your new house?
No, actually, I'm going to talk to Barb after this. I need a pre-approval. I'm ready to get
Super.
pre-approved, Barb.
Hey,
Awesome.
look at that.
We'll
I'm
chat
ready.
after.
I'm ready.
Look at how excited she gets. She's like, hey. That's exciting. That is super exciting. What the hell were we talking about just now?
Primary homes, secondary homes, Barb's
reserves.
expensive Airbnbs.
Oh, so, okay, that's where I wanted to go with this. So when people call and say, I have the 20% down, okay, I want to buy a secondary home or investment, they still need, this is why a lot of people don't buy second home or investments homes because it's expensive.
But it is
But
a
it
good
isn't.
idea if
Yeah, I don't
it's-
think anyone goes into it being like, this will be cheap. You
Oh,
know?
you should hear the phone
Really?
calls I get on a weekly basis.
That
Bill,
is
should I
crazy.
buy one rental home for 60 grand and rent it out for $600 a month? No, absolutely not. Your furnace goes out, you're broke.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
roof goes out, you're broke. So when it comes to investment properties, you need scale, like serious scale. So one house will tank your finances if it goes south. One tenant can tank your finances.
Well, because
you gotta be
yes,
careful.
one tenant,
One
sure,
tenant.
you're going to have a contract with them, right? A lease agreement.
Mhm.
And if they choose not to pay you, you still have to pay the mortgage.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about destruction.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I have
People
a
suck.
great horror story about this. My
Yes,
first
you
home I
do.
ever bought.
Yep.
I bought it for $115,000, which at the time was like, oh my God, this is more money than I could even fathom. I was 19. It was in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
Yep.
10 years ago. And, I move out and I was renting it to a couple of friends the whole time I was there. So, we stayed there very, very cheap while we had people renting. And when we moved out, we moved to Pine City here. We continued to just rent it out. The people that were there destroyed the house. I mean, they were running a puppy mill out of the basement. The doors were chewed up. I mean, basically, I ended up having to put like $5,000 to $10,000 back into it just to get it able to sell
Mhm.
for a break even.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think at closing, I got like $100 check. It was a joke.
That's the conversation I have with new potential investment property owners.
Mhm.
Bill, we have this much. We can only do one for the next 10 years. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I work with quite a few investment property owners, and they're successful because they have scale. So you're a scenario person. So say you have an 8-unit apartment building, 4 rentals. Okay.
Mhm.
This rental over here, the roof goes out.
Uh-huh.
The 8-unit apartment building's income from that month will cover that roof. Okay. The other 3 are bringing money in, right? Say the apartment building's furnace goes out, the boiler. Those 4 rentals, the overage will cover that boiler to get it repaired without any money. Now, imagine if you only had one of those rentals and the roof goes out. Okay. You're only making $25-$30 a month. The roof is now 15 grand. Where's that money coming from?
Yeah, I mean, that I think just
You
gets factored into your plan going into it, too.
Absolutely.
It does not. It does not. Most people do not
Well, you got
Well,
think
they
about
have
that.
to.
Once they
So-
talk to me, they do. We'll lay this out for them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Before we even call Barb, we'll have these conversations. And usually it's a 90% kill. They're like, oh, shit, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. You know,
I remember when I sold that house in Grand Forks that I broke even on, basically.
Uh-huh.
I remember I got a really valuable piece of information from this guy who has a ton of rental properties. He told me like cheap houses attract cheap renters.
Yes.
And outside of Airbnbs, obviously that's short term, but when it's long term rentals, it's like, gosh, if your rent is only $750 a month
Mhm.
and you're barely getting by, you know, who are the people that are looking for
And
$750 a month rent houses?
People are a big factor in this because you don't know who. I mean, there are great renters out there. Don't get me wrong. Some tenants are fabulous. They'll pay their rent for the next 20 years. You'll
Right.
never have to worry about them.
Right.
Some will show up 6 months, give you a security deposit. They won't pay for the next 6 months. Minnesota is a tenant state. It takes you 4 months to kick them out. And now you have a piece of junk you have to put tens of thousands of dollars
Right.
into to start over.
Well, and I'm
know?
just completely speculating here.
We're
but-
talking horror stories there. It's not all bad.
but the lower rent prices are going to be the people who can just afford that.
Yes.
You know, people, I would assume both of you guys are familiar with this, but I think people buy at the top of their budget all the time.
I'm pretty sure someone on the other side of the camera here does that as well.
Hey. Something about a pot
I've
and
done
a
it,
kettle.
dude. But I did that when I was divorced. Tippy top of what I could afford.
Mhm.
That's where we're at.
Yeah,
You know,
so
I
Barb,
mean-
we're going to shoot high for my pre-approval. We're going to see if we can go for a milli, and then
then-
I'll settle for 200.
And then we're gonna do an investment property.
We'll see if we
and-
can't get you a jumbo loan.
Hey, investment properties with equity. Can you use your equity in your current home to finance your next second home or investment?
Absolutely.
A lot of people do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
Yep.
So all this money that we're talking about that you need, you might already have it. Well, you won't because you just sold yours, but you might already have it, and your wife's
Yeah.
not giving you nothing.
Yeah, she won't give me
Um,
nothing.
My wife, ex-wife. I don't have to worry about that. Not disregard. But that's so.
So with and with what? Is there anything other than a HELOC, a home equity line of credit?
You could do a cash out refinance on
Refinance,
your
Okay.
primary.
Okay.
And some people do that to start their capital to do this.
Is that more beneficial than taking out just a whole separate mortgage?
Well, your
Because
interest
you don't
rate,
have to take money out of your own pocket. Obviously, is a huge benefit.
right? Interest rate is lower on your primary than second home or investment property.
So you'll be paying less long term.
You can write off your interest on your primary currently, but ask your tax preparer
Dang.
on
So
that.
word to the wise, you've been sitting on your house for a long time. It's
Use
worth
it.
a lot more than what you bought it at.
Use
You
it.
can. You don't have to sell your house to cash out on that. What
No.
it's gained.
There is a stigma out there that you shouldn't refinance. You can't use your equity. Blah blah blah. If you have it, use it.
Well, I
Why
think
not?
the stigma comes
know?
from the people that like gamble it away.
True.
That
Right.
like
Well,
use it
so-
as
Very
like
true.
fun
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
and
they
to-
do it. They start over and then they do what they just did, whether it's debt or whatever it might be,
Yep.
and now they're screwed. You know, 'cause
Or
they just used all their
they
money.
use it to buy investment property, and the investment property goes south, and now you're
Fails.
stuck with a loan on your primary.
right. Yeah. So, yeah.
Really sit
That's
down and
something to
think
think
about your
about, too.
goals.
Yep. Think
You
about
know,
it.
Do you want to be on the hook for that loan on your primary?
Bring your
if-
wife in before we start signing papers. Just saying. We're really involved
Bring
in
in
it.
the
Sorry,
thinker.
we didn't mean to throw you under the bus here, but.
Hey, that's okay. She would too. She'd throw me right under the bus.
Oh shit! Oh, we're not cutting that out. That's going out there. Yep.
Bring
She would
in-
admit
br-
it. She would admit it.
Bring in the dream washer.
Yeah.
Squasher.
Dream squat.
Yes.
The smasher. The dream smasher. I am the smasher of dreams.
So, let's say your average middle class, average income person, and you want to get into rentals.
Yeah.
Would you say your best option is to either leverage what you already have in your current home or just save up money until you can get a second mortgage? What do you think is more common?
A lot of people do take out home equities to come up with their 20% down,
Oh, okay.
or to at least have a little cushion for that, because also too, you're buying an investment property, it may need some work.
Yeah, so rather than financing the entire amount
Yeah.
through a home equity line of credit, you just finance your down payment with your home
Correct.
equity line of
Yeah.
credit. Oh, okay.
Or
Good to
have
know.
some capital to be able to fix the house up.
So you got some options. You
You
can get
do.
creative.
You can get creative.
Can
Yeah.
you do I guess it would be between you and the person you're buying it from, but can you do seller financing on a second home, vacation home, rental?
Yeah, if they want to do a contract for deed with
But
you.
that's just between you and
Yeah.
that other person.
Contract for deeds
No
are
bank involved.
wicked. Let me tell you, CDs are very biased to the seller. We're going through a couple right now. That's a whole different.
Oh, of course.
That's another podcast.
Yeah.
We could talk about. Yay!
But they're
We're writing
taking
that
all the
down.
risk. They don't have a bank, a huge corporation backing them either. So that would make sense.
Yep,
They have to have
and-
some reason to want to do it.
A contract for deed, just the way it's written, is biased to the seller because of the risk they're taking.
Yeah.
right?
of
A lot of
course.
buyers don't realize that it's not like a mortgage, where if you do, you default on a mortgage, you have right of redemption periods, you have sheriff sales, you have all this stuff, right? On a contract for deed, you got 30 days. That's it.
Mm.
There's no right of redemption. There's none of that stuff. I mean, you can always work it out with the seller,
So,
but
I mean, at the end of the
it's
day,
wicked,
you
man.
got to give up something to
Mhm.
get
and
this
I've
house.
I've done a lot of CDs, right? Sorry, didn't mean to, but a lot of CDs work just fine. So
yeah.
if you found an investment property that the seller wanted to make the interest off it versus just selling it outright, because you make some good money. Barb knows rate makes some good money off this interest rate. So if the seller wants to make the interest and they're willing to do it and the terms are good, do it. Why
Right.
not?
And if
Just
you don't,
default,
if you don't have the
know?
money and you want to still do it, obviously that's
Yep. The only
definitely a way to go.
only way CDs get weird is if you default, because that's when the fangs come out, the horns come out, the rules start getting thrown at you. I mean, but
Yep.
if you don't default, it's great.
Pay your bills.
Pay your bills. Just pay your bills.
As long as the CD holder doesn't default.
And that's another. See,
Oh
there's
yeah,
so much
if
to
they
talk
have
about.
a mortgage on. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Could you
okay.
imagine?
There was a
Could
lot
you-
of that
Oh.
going on with the meltdown during the meltdown.
Oh, I bet.
And so then people had bought these houses with contract for deeds, and then all of a sudden the bank comes and knocks on the door, and they're just the CD,
Mhm.
the renter,
Yep.
call it, and the bank says you got to get out, and they're like, wait a minute, I've been making my payment to
Oh.
John Doe, and they're like, well, John Doe hasn't paid the bank,
Oh.
you're out.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? It
Oh
gets
my
so
gosh.
weird. It gets
Yeah,
so
that's
weird.
tough.
Yep. And
All right.
Minnesota's a tenancy state. So could you kick them out
Yeah.
as a bank?
Well, yeah, because they're not the rightful owner.
But you got to wait for a little while. There's
Well, a little bit.
Yep.
But-
Have you guys heard of?
There's so much to it.
I don't know if you can claim eminent domain in Minnesota. I don't think
Yes.
you can, right?
You can.
Okay, so
It's a really long.
I can't
time
remember the
frame, though.
guy's name, but
Long time
he
frame.
started his own business of getting squatters out of houses.
Oh,
So what he does is he starts a very, very low rate lease from you, so that he is legally renting a room or the property from you alongside the squatter. And then what he will do is he'll mess with the squatter for days, weeks, hours, whatever it takes to get them out. So like playing super loud music right at their door, or like, trashing the house, or, essentially
and I
pushing them
bet
out.
you a lot of investors use this guy just to get him out.
Yes,
Yep.
definitely. Yeah, he's got a big YouTube channel. I can't remember
1,000
the name
different
of it.
ways to make $1. We were just talking about
Yep.
that before we started.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because
So-
sometimes it can be, that's the other thing to think about on an investment property, is if someone's not paying, you now have legal fees to go to court to get them out, and you're not getting paid the rent.
Because you're a landlord. You
Yeah, I
are
mean,
essentially a
if
landlord.
they're not able
Yeah.
to pay you, are they going to be able to pay a lawsuit? Like
Right,
obviously.
but you're trying to get them out
yeah,
so that you can rent it to someone else.
right.
But that all takes time.
Ugh,
So
I hate it. I'm not buying any rental properties anytime
Today,
soon.
anyways.
Yeah, not today.
Well, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see.
I'll ask my wife for some money. Maybe I will.
You ain't getting shit. We know that. We know. You're not fooling anybody.
thanks for tuning in to Keys and Credit, where the only thing inflated isn't the market, it's your knowledge. If you found this helpful, share with a friend. Tune in next week. Leave us a review. It helps us more than you think.
More than you think.